What is going on with Drake and this FICO charge? Let's talk about it. Facts matter. Wonderful opener, eh? Yes, because they do. And the thing I love about court cases, especially when they pertain to just court cases generally, is one of the few places, guys, where the AI creates the disruption of speculation and feelings and emotions don't really matter. You can make all the noise you want to make on TikTok or X. Doesn't really matter. What matters are the facts, arguing the facts and the application of law. And this is why I kind of really got into this content. I started, if you're new to my channel, you will see that I have a playlist with Megan Thee Stallion versus Milagro. I'm very fascinated. I'm very, very, very keen to see how the law courts are going to be handling people who assume because they have a platform with a number of followers, they are journalists, which is insanity in my mind. And yeah, this Drake case is very interesting. I first heard about it the same way all of us did in October when the initial filing was done. I was kind of waiting to see where this was going to go because there's no point talking about it if it gets dismissed. But I think we have some momentum, guys. Now, I'm not saying that it may not get settled or whatever, but at this stage, I think it's time to really get into it and give you guys what I said I deliver on this channel, the facts straight from the source in the simplest ways as possible. And yeah, like I said, if this is the content you like, please continue to like, subscribe, and share. So here is what the lawsuit is actually saying. And I should probably say this, guys. I'm chilling in my filming room. I don't have a sexy work desk. I just have a light, my camera, and my laptop with my notes. So if you see me looking in this direction, I'm looking at my notes. So please bear with me. So let's get into it. So what is this lawsuit actually saying in the simplest English? The lawsuit has just been filed in Virginia that names Drake, Aiden Ross, and a gambling website called stake.us. As I said, guys, I'm breaking down the case. This video is not about who's guilty. That's why at the very beginning, I made it clear what my biases were. So that when I talk about it, you don't start wondering, oh, why isn't she dragging Aiden? Oh, why isn't she dragging Drake? That's not what this is for. I'm just here to break it down for you, nice and simple like. It's about what the people suing are claiming and why this case matters legally. So bear that in mind. So basically, for those of you who are new to lawsuits, a lawsuit is basically someone saying, look, you've harmed me and I can prove it. It is not a judge agreeing with them. Again, I bring this up because some of you people you don't know what you're talking about, and this is Googleable information, by the way. I literally just pressed what is a lawsuit and got that answer straight up. Many people that think that because there are lawsuits filed against their favorite celebrities, somebody is out to get you. Not really. Like, if you were not committing crimes or doing illegal activities, there wouldn't be anybody to get you, right? So it really just a case. It really is just a case of somebody alleging that you harm them and providing proof or not providing proof. So let's get any angry feelings or emotional feelings out of the way. Please do not take it personally. Let's get on with it. Right. So what type of case is this? This is a civil class action, not a criminal case. What that means is regular people are suing, not the government. And they are suing together as a group. So really, again, just to further clarify, think of it this way. One person is saying, this thing happened to me. A class action says, this happened to thousands of us the same way, for example, right? Yeah. So let's talk about let's go to the next section. What are people claiming about stake.us? The main claim is that stake.us says it's a fun-free social casino, but actually works like a real online casino. As somebody who doesn't get involved in casino, anything, or gambling, this is all noise to me. If you guys, again, depending on how much engagement you give me, if you're interested in me breaking this down further, please let me know, and we can talk about what exactly goes on in the world of online casino and gambling, because this is quite interesting. So, like I said, let me break it down even further for you guys. Stake.us uses two types of digital money: gold coins, stake cash. Gold coins are basically play money. Stake cash, now that's where the problem is. Because the lawsuit says stake cash can be turned into real money. Then this is the key idea basically. The people suing say that this sets up tricks users into gambling real money while being told it's not gambling. I'm pausing for effect. Hopefully that makes sense. Right. Why are Drake and Aiden Ross named in the lawsuit? Yes. I'm going to break this down, guys, so please stay with me here. Drake and Aiden Ross are not being sued because they are famous. So to their fans, calm down. The lawsuit alleges that they were paid to promote stake.us and regularly streamed themselves gambling on it. Hopefully you're putting it together now. Perfect. And let me further clarify this again. The claim is not they made people gamble, because I know a lot of people are going on the internet saying, well, nobody forced you to do it. The claim is they helped make it look safe, legal, and normal. Pausing for effect, guys. Hopefully you're following me. Good. That is a big legal difference. So again, I'm bringing this up because on the internet, some of you can be quite insensitive. You're saying, oh, well, you're a grown-up adult, nobody forced you to do anything you didn't want to do. Yes. But if two very popular streamers, and whether you consider them to be celebrities or not, it's neither here nor there, they have a certain amount of influence. And if they go on their platforms and give people the perception that they are not dealing with cash, that this is just a game, I mean, come on. Do you really blame people for being upset and taking action if they actually spent their own money based on this impression? Yeah. So let's talk about this part, because this is very important. The tipping thing, I called it the tipping thing explained simply. One unusual part of this lawsuit that I think we should focus upon is it involves something called tipping on stake.us. In simple English, users can send money to each other inside the platform. The lawsuit claims this system hides who's paying who and why. So let me clarify why that is important. This matters because money laws care about transparency. Hidden money flows get attention from courts. Again, pausing for effect. Yeah? There's a reason why it took a very long time for financial institutions to start getting into Bitcoin. International anti-money laundering laws like to know who is moving money and where and why. Bear that in mind. RICO. Now I know that we see this a lot. So let me explain what RICO is, right? A RICO, in very simple English, just means the plaintiffs are claiming this wasn't a one-time thing. They are saying it was an ongoing system with different people playing different rules over several years. So basically, RICO is a RICO because it's a systemic behavior or pattern, yeah? And it's clearly hurt people. So please bear that in mind for RICO. Now, it's in plain English, I guess the best way to say it in relation to this case is, this is not one bad stream, but a setup that kept going. Now, what happens next? Or rather, what happens now? The lawyers will try, as expected, to get this case thrown out. Well, this is part of the reasons why I waited to see what was going to happen here. The judges decide what claims survive, and most of these cases never actually reach trial. So basically, as explained, a lot of lawsuits, you'll be surprised how many lawsuits die quietly. No dramatic ending, no headline. You are free to bring anything you want against someone, and you're free to allege whatever you want. If you're not able to provide enough evidence, one, or if the evidence or the case that you're bringing, according to a judge, is not worth going to trial or isn't actually breaking the law, or if they are again, this is why they pay the lawyers the big bucks. That lawsuit may never see the light of day. That's why sometimes a lot of these things are just headline grabbers, and that is why I waited before I spoke about this case. Now, I'm not saying that this case is still going to go further. I don't know. Like I said, Drake, let me say Drake, because Aiden Ross, all the streamers like to scream that they are rich, but let me use Drake, because Drake, I think, actually has the supply chain. He just recently, unsuccessfully, tried to sue his record company for the whole Kendrick Lamar thing. So he clearly has money to burn. So yeah. Now, let me close this in this way. The key takeaway here is being sued does not automatically mean you did anything wrong, guys. But being sued under these laws means the court will look closely at how things actually worked, not how they were marketed. If the judge rules on the case, I'll explain that to you in the same plain English. Now, there's something I want to do. I'll call it, how serious is this really? I think I've broken it down for you as simply as possible without any of the unnecessary extras, right? On one side, you have regular people, regular folks like me and you who have a normal salary, who probably in a year make a certain amount that Drake and maybe even Aiden can blow in the night, right? The regular people, the users of stake.us, are saying they lost money and they were misled. On the other side, you have stake.us, the platform itself, Drake, a global celebrity and a paid promoter, Aiden Ross, a major online streamer and a paid promoter. This is not a small YouTube dispute. Let me just clarify that. This is everyday consumers suing a platform and high-profile promoters in a federal court. Now, this is a serious lawsuit for 3 reasons that I've been able to think about, right? Reason 1, the laws being used. The lawsuit doesn't complain, it uses heavy duty laws like RICO and state consumer protection laws. You don't need these laws unless you believe you have documents, data, and patterns to prove your case. This is the second reason, the court. This was filed in a federal court, guys, and not a small claims court. Federal judges are very strict. Weak cases don't last long here. And that's, you've seen that, if you've seen my Megan Thee Stallion video, which I highly recommend you watch, I'm going to be populating that playlist. Like I said, lawsuits right at the very beginning, anybody can file a lawsuit. You really can. But because of, again, you need to have a case, especially if you're bringing that lawsuit to a federal court, right? Because those judges are not there to, this is not a small claims dispute. They're actually citing case law here. State consumer laws, as I mentioned, and a RICO charge. This is not a joke, right? Now, let me say it again, just because it's a lawsuit with all these big terms, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going anywhere, but it's definitely something you need to pay attention to, especially as a class action, because it means that a group of people have enough information to bring what they feel is a strong case against stake.us, Drake, and Aiden Ross. Now, the final one, and of course the most important one, cash money. Money was lost here. The lawsuit asks for millions of dollars, refunds, penalties, and court orders that could change how that platform operates. That really raises the stakes for everybody involved. Let's keep it 500%. Because if they are found to have done this alleged crimes or this alleged criminality, that's going to be a heavy price. And this type of things could set precedents that could scare other so-called online gaming platforms where you can move toy money around into sitting up and maybe being a bit more careful. One, how they promote their products, and two, how they operate, because this is some BS. And yeah, will this go to trial? Here is my opinion. Most cases like this do not go to trial. I told you, you can bring any lawsuit against anyone. You really can, you literally can. Trials are expensive, they take years, and they force both sides to open their books. This is why the Drakes, the Stakes.us, and the Aiden Ross make a lot of lawyers very wealthy. The honest truth is, if a case like this can survive early motions and reaches the evidence stage, settlement suddenly becomes very attractive, as you can imagine. Now, the last thing I will say, I don't really like doing this, but since we're again playing with the odds here, let me do that. What is the likelihood of a dismissal, or settlement, or trial? Let me give you the three realistic paths that I can see here, right? Early dismissal. The judge thinks the claims don't legally add up. The case could be dismissed early, and that tends to happen a lot, to be honest. Two, settlement, most likely, is what I think is going to happen if this case survives. If parts of this case survive and discovery starts, settlement will become very likely, because we just said it, nobody wants to open their books. Let's be 500%. Even if you're innocent, even if you're guilty, they could find something that they could bring a case about you. People can amend their complaints. Settlement does not, and let me be very clear about this, settlement does not imply guilt. It just means that both sides have decided that, you know what, certainty is better than risk. Okay, fine. I don't want this to get to trial. Don't forget that it's Drake and Aiden Ross, who are actually quite popular despite my best efforts. This can bring a lot of bad press. Drake has already lost a major RICO case against UMG. That was embarrassing. They dragged him for weeks about it. And Aiden Ross is a 25-year-old streamer who talks too much. This case, on paper, can ruin them. It can ruin opportunities for them. Because don't forget, all these streamers, celebrities nowadays, they don't really make money on music. They make money on ads. They make money on this type of thing. This is where a lot of their cash is coming from. And honestly, you don't want this type of smoke. You don't want that reputation of someone who people cannot advertise with, because whoa, you are already being chased by the feds, right? So this is something I can honestly see them settling if it is not thrown out. And look, the trial, like I said, I don't see this going to trial. I'm happy to be corrected though, because some people like to stand on business. If you had asked me if the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case was going to trial, I'd have laughed in your face. I personally don't even think that case is going to trial, but this has been a weird year so far. Trials only happen if neither side blinks. Are you following now? And that's rare in cases that involve big money and public features, and I agree. Public figures. A trial is bad. A trial means that, one, both sides have money to burn. It's a very expensive endeavor, and it can severely ruin your reputation on both sides. And you don't want that case filed, because like I said, anything that involves big money and public figures, the courts get involved. Guess who else is going to get involved? Other parts of the feds, the taxman, people who probably have been circling you for one reason or the other, that have finally found that opening. Al Capone went to jail because he wasn't paying taxes, not because of the excessive amount of criminality he was doing. People do not want this smoke. I've spoken about some of the key elements of the case as it pertains to stake.us, but there is something else to talk about here, the bust allegations, because I know that's the part that everybody is online trying to say, well, this is some BS, what the bust have to do with anything. Let's break that down as quickly, as simply as possible, right? One of the most serious part of this lawsuits actually has nothing to do with the gambling itself and the gambling losses. It involves the allegations about the bots, specifically bots used to fake online personality. The lawsuit is claiming that Drake, along with people working with him, used automated bots and so-called streaming farms to artificially increase the number of times his music was played online. So basically, in simple English, they're alleging that it's not really listeners, it's just computer that's amplifying his music streams. The bots, why do they matter legally? Streaming numbers decide chart positions, playlists, recommendations, and money. If streams are fake, the system thinks something is popular when it isn't, and this affects real artists and real payouts. So let's talk about how this is tied to the stake.us case, right? This is where I know a lot of people were getting a bit confused and conflating all sorts of things. It claims that stake.us was used as a payment pathway. The allegation is that money through stake.us, especially through its internal tipping feature, was used to pay people who run bots and online promotion campaigns. Now, like I said, we've involved Aiden Ross in this. Another individual was named as somebody used to help promote root money and amplify content connected to this system. Like I said, these are not criminal findings. These are claims that would need evidence, records, and testimony to prove. So I'll keep it very quick. What type of bots are alleged here, guys? Automated streaming bots, large groups of controlled accounts, paid clipping and amplification services, coordinated posting on platforms such as Discord, X, and live stream sites. The goal, according to the complaint, was to make music and content look more popular than it actually was. And let's come back to the point about the RICO with this. RICO, as we've already said, is used when plaintiffs claim a system with different roles operate over time. The allegation is one part made money, one part promoted content, and one part handled artificial amplification. What this does not mean, guys, it does not mean the following, so don't get too excited. Bots were proven, anyone admitted anything, and the courts have to rule on this. It just means that the plaintiffs believe they can prove this. With transactions and platform data. This allegation is quite serious actually, because allegations involving bots are serious because they don't just affect fans, they affect markets. It's like, trading, false trading. You are lying to people. You're telling people something is popular when it isn't. And again, this is what helps people feel confident in investing money into things they probably wouldn't be because you've told them it's popular or they've seen fake data that is popular. We see this a lot with the royal family. They like to tell everybody that, oh, they're very popular, but when you check out the actual content they release, their shows, or when they go to meet people in public, nobody comes. So how are you popular online and nobody shows up? Again, a very good sign of a bot infrastructure working to boost people and give false information about people. So charts, payouts, and recommendations are supposed to reflect real people. As I've just said, if that trust breaks, platforms and courts pay attention. So I just wanted to cover that point. I was going to put everything, but I thought it'd be very important to call that out. When people ask what are the bot allegations, the answer is very simple. The lawsuit is claiming that fake activity was used to create real-world success, and that money was rooted in a way that hid how activity was paid for. These are all allegations, guys. And like I said, this case has just started. We'll see if it gets dismissed. If it does get dismissed, I'll break it down to you why. And yeah, let me know what you think in the chat. I think this is quite interesting. I think it's amazing how they've been able to link bot allegations to stake.us fake online, fake online gambling, and how that has affected Drake, Aiden Ross, and I think the DJ Academics has been named in this as well. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear from you. Did you like my breakdown? Is there anything you wanted me to clarify? Sorry for the long video, but I figured it would be useful. Let me know what you think, guys. Please continue to like, subscribe, and share, and peace.